What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Lever Talks. My name is Rob, and today we are talking about Islam Makhachev versus Charles Oliveira, UFC 280. Now, when you compare these two guys side by side, it's an amazing fight. I think we both guarantee it. This is the best fight card we have this year, without a doubt, and I don't think anyone can disagree. I can't think of any other fight cards that were on the same level as this fight card. The main event, obviously, this is what we're talking about. Charles Oliveira, the Brazilian with a phenomenal background. The man fights like half blind, right? The best probably lightweight jiu-jitsu specialist we've seen, without a doubt, right? And then you've got Islam Makhachev, who's the protege of Khabib Nurmagomedov, and he's, 21-1, whatever he is. Clean record, but hasn't technically beaten anyone really in the top 5 yet. Hasn't really been tested. He's been knocked out before, and he's beat some up and coming fighters like Tasira Khan, those types of people, but he's never really been tested in that kind of elite level, kind of top 5, right? And that's why everyone's questioning. Everyone's questioning Islam Makhachev. Can he handle the top 5? Yes, I think he can. But the big thing, I think, is that he needs to kind of step it down a notch, right? He's living on that kind of Khabib protege. And don't get me wrong, guys. Like, I like Khabib, I like Islam. I think they're very, obviously, notable records, without a doubt. But they very, very precisely pick who they're fighting, right? Even if you look at Khabib's record was really... the last 4 people were in that elite category. The rest were nobodies, right? Islam Makhachev literally hasn't fought anyone. He's been a broken down Dan Hooker, and he beat Bobby Green to get in the top 10 from like top 15. Like, it's bullshit, right? I don't know how the rankings work. I don't think he's number 1 contender. I think he should have fought Benel Dariush. That's a totally separate question. I'm not hating on him by any means. So fuck off if you think you're going to leave me some stupid comments down below, right? But at the end of the day, that's the truth, if you like it or not. Now let's look at Charles Oliveira. Charles Oliveira has lost 8 times, right? He knows defeat, and he has something inside him that has decided just to fucking burn wild, and has suddenly become one of the best lightweights with it in the world, right? And if you look at his resume, he's beaten a lot more people in that kind of elite category than what Islam Makhachev has. Now, he had an issue making weight last time. Whether or not that's actually a problem moving forward, I doubt it. He is a professional. I don't think he's missed weight before. I think there was a bit of controversy around that, but we won't go into it. Thing is Charles Oliveira has been damaged every single time he's gotten the ring, right? He's been put down, he's been knocked down, and he's nearly lost, right? Chandler, Gagey, Poirier, he's nearly lost all 3 of them. And a lot of people are like, well, Charles beat Poirier and Gagey in faster time than what Khabib has. Well, yes, that is true. However, Khabib never got touched, hardly at all. All right, I mean, he had that guillotine from Poirier, but at the end of the day, like, he pretty much dominated the fight. I don't think he lost a round. Versus Charles, we didn't know which way it was going to go. It was mayhem, like, it was hectic. Great fights. That's what we're there for, right? We're in for the great fights. I don't think this fight will be over quickly. I hope it's not over quickly. I hope it's a really good back and forth fight, and both men are tested to their level of, like, they're both tested. That's what we want to see as viewers. That's what we want to see. But as like kind of a UFC kind of MMA analyst, I don't know if I want to see pure domination from either men, right? Who do I want to win? I want Charles to win. I think Charles is the more humble, grounded individual who's a little bit more down to earth when it comes to life. I think Islam is kind of living up on this cloud a little bit, and is a little bit arrogant. And I think if he loses, he gets put in his place a little bit, and maybe that arrogance, he kind of disappears, and he doesn't, his persona changes, right? I think that may be what happens. Now, if he wins, that might escalate, and he might actually be more arrogant, and then depending on what happened with Volkanovski and all the other you know, fighting in Shabako that's next after this lightweight fight, then who knows what's going to happen. So it's going to be very interesting. The card itself, I mean, I think, like I said, I want Charles Oliveira to win. I think Islam Makhachev might just scrape it in because of the fact that he's a more dominant wrestler. But don't rule out Oliveira's wrestling, right? You see him against Tony Ferguson. Tony Ferguson was I think, an all-star wrestler, or he did a lot of wrestling when he was younger, right? Oliveira took down Ferguson numerous times, right? Admittedly, maybe he doesn't have the best takedown defense, but I wouldn't count him out, right? There was stuff that Oliveira did that is built into him as a wrestler. He's a grappler and his striking is phenomenal. Islam obviously comes from that Sambo background, fighting, you know, training with Khabib, has dominated most of his opponents, is obviously quite well versed in striking, maybe not to the same extent I think as Oliveira. I think it's getting there. He obviously trained striking much more than what Khabib did, but we'll see, right? Like Charles comes with these range of fast weapons, knees, elbows, and he's so long, he's so lengthy. We don't know how Makhachev's going to handle that, right? We don't know how, he hasn't been tested at that. So it's going to be super exciting, super interesting to see what happens there. Obviously jiu-jitsu, they're both accomplished jiu-jitsu artists. I don't know what the fucking word is for it, but you know, I think they're both going to be very aware that the other person's phenomenal at jiu-jitsu, and I think Makhachev has to be very careful with Oliveira's jiu-jitsu, so we'll see what comes around that. But it's an exciting fight. I think Islam might just steal it. What's next for Islam after? I'll have to make another video, but ultimately I think that if Islam steals it, then you know it's going to be an interesting 2023. Obviously, there'll be no lightweight title fights for the rest of the year because we're already getting into 12th of October. And then what's next for Charles Oliveira? I mean, he's already cleaned out the top five, right? I mean, he gets put in at number 2, number 3, and then you have someone else take a shot at it, right? You got Benel Dariush, who's, depending how he comes out against Gamrot, that could put him into title contendership. Michael Chandler wants another shot at the title. Obviously Poirier and Gagey aren't going to get another shot at the title anytime soon. Is McGregor coming back into the picture? Probably not a lightweight. And then you got the Volkanovski fight, right? I mean, he's a tough fucker, that's for sure. But we'll see what happens. I'm excited as much as you guys. I'm sure I'll be making much more videos on UFC 280 before it kicks off. We're already 8 minutes in. If you're still watching, please hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that little button that notifies you the next time I go live, and I appreciate it. And I will see you on the next one.